Well, good evening, race fans, and welcome to Le Mans, to the Circuit de la Sarthe. And this is a very special 2-hour race event endurance challenge here. We are racing in aid of Bladder Cancer UK, which you can find at the hashtags Flight Bladder Cancer. My name is Webbo, here to take you through tonight's racing proceedings. This has been brought to you obviously on the JPTV 23 channel by Jay Greenwood, who is our host, and the thrust behind tonight's charity stream. JP will be racing with us tonight shortly. He's hasn't got into the car, I don't think, yet. Let me just get there. He is, JP Greenwood, down in the pits right now. So just getting everybody organised, waiting for everybody to show up. But cars have been selected. Qualifying has been completed by the drivers, and I'll take you through the starting order very, very shortly. So just give me 1 second and I will locate that for you all. Hope you're all doing well. I hope you're ready to enjoy tonight's racing. But before the lights go out and we get underway, do give us a quick donation at the link which you'll find in the description and at the top of tonight's live stream, live chat. Hopefully that has processed okay for you and you can all see that there. I hope you're looking forward to this tonight. I certainly am. It is actually my debut as a commentator around the Le Mans circuit, so just furiously learning corner names as we speak. Pole position was taken by Payen on the soft tyres, and the drivers, as a quick note, the drivers will start the race on the tyres that they qualified on. So at Payen is first off. Let's see, he is the Turkish driver. Just heading out of the pits here in the bright orange, very relevant for tonight's charity. Bladder Cancer UK used the orange quite a lot, and it's almost like a Mazda style Le Mans livery there. And hi to Lydia Makarov, who is joining us in the live chat. She is here from Bladder Cancer, and you can see when we get up close with the car, you'll be able to see there that the livery has got the Bladder Cancer logos on it, so that's pretty smart. We're all correct and present. That is the pole sitting Payen. This is just practice, we haven't started yet. Try not to get too panicky, everybody. Andy Winters here in the red and black car, the BMW as we see it here on the screen, Monster Energy sponsored vehicle. He came second with a time of 3:56.671 on the soft tyres also. He was beaten by Jamie H here in the blue and white Nissan car. He's just currently hanging out in the gravel trap at the moment, just to give us a good close-up on his car. Jamie, he qualified third, but he's on the medium tyres on a better compound than Dilsey. Dilsey, let's check out where Dilsey is at the moment. Has he joined us? I think that might be Danger. Possibly, but his car not on track just yet for us, so I'll introduce him when we get there. Dilsey on the soft tyres. Espuma, very quick and accomplished driver here. Espuma in the green, black and red Jaguar. He managed to qualify 5th on medium tyres, beating out Bo 26. Unfortunately, Bo 26 is a no-show tonight, so everybody else will jump forward one space. Mr. Grumpy or Dale Kelleher on the medium tyres. He will start the race in effectively 6th place. I'll just see if he's in yet. I don't think he is. I don't think I've seen him either. There he is. Mr. Grumpy will be in the Mercedes, in the turquoise Mercedes, but he's not in his seat just yet on track. FTRL's Lee Cole will be next up. He is currently on the top of the screen. He's a red Dodge Viper with the twin white stripes there running down the centre. And he will start in 7th position. He's on the soft tyres. JP, the host, the fastest of the hard tyre shod cars. JP will be in the neon green and white liveried car. He's on the hard tyres and he will start in 8th position. And he's just about getting into his car. In 10th position, HMFC. He is in the pits as well. He will be driving the orange wheeled navy blue Gulf liveried machine. He will start as well on the hard tyres, and then we will have, starting at the back, Cablo, El Troca, Maxi Boy, Tony, and Blue Mosquito. And I know we've seen Blue Mosquito already. Here he is. Of course he's in bright blue, but he's got the Fight Bladder Cancer livery on the car as well. So fantastic stuff. I do hope that the Fight Bladder Cancer representatives watching with us are retweeting as we speak, so we can get some more eyes on and raise some more money here for the charity tonight. And if there are any key messages you want to give out, do drop me a note. This is Webbo. You can drop a note in the live chat as you are doing. But we're almost on our way to get underway for this fabulous 2 hours of Le Mans racing tonight. Of course, the full Le Mans circuit with the 2 chicanes on the Mulsanne Straight, and the car's just getting ready here for their rolling start, led away by Payan with the deserved pole position, of course, here in the Toyota Supra. And we go. We are underway racing here at Le Mans. Forgive the typical issues we have with the starting race camera, but Payan leads away quite comfortably here from Andy Winters, and Jamie H also just flying formation. Perhaps a look down the inside there for Danger, who's defending against S. Boomer. Danger on the outside, S. Boomer getting very loose on the rear wheels on the car, but just about hanging on to the grip on the Jaguar. The Joker liveried turquoise Mercedes here of Mr. Grumpy, just trying to hold on to the wheel tracks of S. Boomer, while meantime behind him Lee Cole in the Dodge Viper comes up the inside and gets the apex, and a perfect getaway down the Mulsanne Straight for the first time, and through Corbe d'Antar and down the Hunandier Straight towards the very first of our many trips down towards the chicane. Andy Winters has picked up a penalty already. I'm going to exit the lobby for a moment so we can get a decent trackside camera for you. Here we go. Let's get back on the track, please, Gran Turismo. Anytime you like. Here we go. We're almost there. Come on now. And there we go. We've got our proper display back for us. Here we go. So Andy Winters with the half-second penalty ahead of Jamie, who also has a half-second penalty, but Payan continues to lead the way there, and he is going to suffer that penalty. I'm not quite sure yet exactly where the penalty will be taken, but first is Payan from Andy Winters, Jamie H, Danger in 4th, and Lee Cole in 5th position, holding off for the time being S. Boomer in the Jaguar, coming up behind the Dodge Viper there at this current time. But you can see it is lap 1. We will be racing for 2 clear hours, and they will have a headwind pretty much all the way down the Mulsanne Straight as they head down now past the second chicane towards the Virage de Mulsanne, right at the end of this one. And this is where you'll see drivers getting a little bit loose on the car. The tyres cold at this stage. It is a big turning stop, trail braking almost stop down into the Mulsanne corner at the end of the straight, but thankfully our leaders all through safely. And you can see Danger's car in the black, grey and green accented race in 4th place at the moment, and they're just gapping the Mercedes of Mr. Grumpy, and JP on the hard tyres leading the way in the second group of drivers. He's on the hard tyres, remember, started on those hards, will be coming off those hards later on, but we'll be able to cruise and try and stay with the drivers at the back. We've got a nice old battle going on with our rearmost gunners here. Tap Shooter leading. Oh, there's an accident. We have an accident off on the circuit at the moment. Who was that? That was Cablo in the very attractive orange Bladder Cancer car number 84. Cablo off and at the rear of our field at the start here. That was into Indianapolis, and I don't think that'll be the first time we see a problem like that. We've got side-by-side action coming down the straight here. That is that Lego IG? It's Lego IG coming down and having just got ahead of the blue Mosquito, the DC liveried Lego Man car here. Blue Mosquito running wide, struggling on those tyres. Is he also on the hard tyres? Yes, indeed he is, and it shows on the vehicle. Tap Shooter closing in now towards JP, who is on the hard tyres. I don't know if JP will know the tyre difference on the car behind, but he'll have a feeling as he's got a lot more grip coming through the corners. JP in 8th here as they head down towards the Ford chicane and into then the Raccordement chicane for the first time of asking tonight. Big wide entry, of course, but he did leave the door open in the Aston Martin there to the oncoming bright orange McLaren behind him. And through they go, P8 and P9. Down at the tail of the field, Blue Mosquito has picked up a half-second penalty. He'll wear that for a fair old while. We've got HMFC in the beautiful navy and orange accented car here in P13, and Cablo with that early problem in Indianapolis will be at the back and trying to get those laps in now on the medium tyre, but right at the back of the grid, and not in a good way at all for him. It's apologies for the slight stuttering that we've got on the screen. I'll do my best to try and get that ironed out for you. Hope you're looking forward to this race as much as I am. This is Andy Winters then in the second place BMW M6, led by Payan this race. Through we go then, the first of the two major chicanes down the Mulsanne Straight. Anybody else likely to be launching a move into here? We're just seeing the tail end of the Mulsanne Straight. There is the AMG ahead of the Supra, and it is JP who's picked up an early penalty. Half a second, that's half a second off throttle as you see the yellow chevrons on the screen, and that will mean that the cars will automatically go off throttle for half a second, but thankfully for him, he's got the McLaren with the same penalty of Tap Shooter just behind him. Tap Shooter trying to get up into the slipstream and succeeding here. Some great top speed. Oh, in fact, he's bump drafting the car in front, not really going for a move until just onto the braking area. The McLaren down the inside into the first part of the chicane. Will we see a completed move? Yes, indeed we will. And up to 8th place goes Tap Shooter with a very American US race, oval racing style tactic. A little bump draft and then pull out and early on the brakes down deep into the apex, and nicely done on the soft tyres. But here comes JP fighting back again. Tap Shooter didn't manage to get sufficiently far ahead, and maybe JP just toying with him a little bit here. Gets up the inside down into the Virage du Mulsanne, and through they go. JP recovering that position, and then the Alfa Romeo 4C 10th place Goblin guy getting a little bit out of shape, coming through the Mulsanne corner through the Courbe du Golf. I'm assuming there's a golf course on the outside or the inside of that section of the racetrack course. Most of this race performed on public roads, and so that's why the texture of the roads is quite so dodgy and rough and cambered even on the straights. Oh wow, big oversteer moment there for the McLaren, who is starting to get very, very impatient behind JP's Aston Martin. Look out for those yellow chevrons. They are coming up very shortly for the two cars. Here we go. Off throttle goes the Aston Martin in front, and then you can see the nose dips of the McLaren as he has a similar half-second gap. So it is the section between Arnage and the Porsche curves that the yellow chevrons are appearing for us tonight. I like the windshield top screen there on the McLaren. It says "Cancer sucks," and I'm sure all of us can hang with that particular sentiment. Please use the link at the top of the live chat or in the description of the video to give generously to tonight's target. We did manage to get some money together earlier on. I'll just focus on the racing at the moment as JP got hung out to dry on the outside of the Porsche curves. Down they go towards the Ford chicane now, and the McLaren is ahead. In fact, what's that? JP going in the pits? He's on the hard tyres. This is a very unusual time to stop off the hard tyres, but I think he's not happy with the performance, and I think the requirement is, of course, for all drivers to use all tyres and to start on their qualifying tyre. But JP, the first driver into the pits, just at the end of lap 2, start of lap 3. Payan continues to lead this race by 2.7 seconds and has the fastest lap on lap 2 and is well in the groove on those soft tyres, but he won't get that many laps out of this 13.6 kilometre lap here around the Le Mans circuit. The wind has picked up as well and turned slightly to the east, so it is a well, it's a westerly, technically, the wind, but a headwind for the most of the Mulsanne Straight. Into the chicane go the first three drivers, Payan, Andy Winters and Leigh Cole. Short wait then for S. Boomer on the medium shod Jaguar as he goes in to that same chicane, shortly joined by Jamie. It's a few seconds back. Some 9 seconds further back is the Mercedes here of Mr. Grumpy as he goes down into the corner. Danger behind him, certainly within range, and Tap Shooter bringing up that McLaren up towards P7. Danger's car, the Supra GT500, the old style Supra that is, in the black with green and grey accents. They'll be hoping to tuck in to the slipstream of the Mercedes in front, who is wearing a penalty to be paid shortly. But the driver's not super close at the moment. Perhaps they will see some action between Goblin Guy and Lego in the Vantage behind the DC sponsored, DC Shoes sponsored Lego IG88 car. Having a little look into the second chicane, no way through there at this stage, but the car in front and behind all on the half-second penalties. Very easy to pick up penalties around here. The curbs are just sort of randomly placed with inviting parts of tarmac either side of the chicane, so it's very, very easy to make a mistake and pick up that penalty. But it's early days yet. It's only lap 3. HMFC's wearing the Gulf and Champion sponsored Audi R8 bright orange wheels. Lots of people rocking the orange colour scheme of the Bladder Cancer UK charity. As I say, please use the link to give generously. I'll be keeping my eye on the running total and tell you where we're at the end of the stream. Of course, we were doing really well at £250 before we started tonight, but I'm hoping that we can at least double that over the course of the next few days. Cablo in 13th. JP has now put on the soft tyres, so he's getting the probably the two worst tyres out of the way early on here, trying to make up some ground. He's at the back of the field. He's got a clear track in front of him, no complications for him to worry about. Just needs to pump in those quick lap times on the soft tyres, use them up, and then get racing back onto the favoured medium tyre. I imagine he'll be on shortly, and he picks up a penalty as we watch him. Now the top three have condensed somewhat, possibly a mistake from Payan or just chewing through those tyres. And into the pits comes our race leader at the end of lap 3 off the soft tyres. He really was chewing through those tyres as Andy Winters picks up the lead of the race. He's actually further degraded those softs than Payan had, and Leigh Cole into the pits behind Payan as well. S. Boomer will I assume get on through here and pick up second place. Yes, indeed he does. He's on the medium tyres, only about 25% worn, those medium tyres. And Jamie goes past the erstwhile leaders, and he picks up those positions as well for Payan and Leigh Cole. Those drivers will be on the same strategy at the moment as Andy Winters. I do expect the majority of the drivers though to pit for and use mediums for the majority of the race. So I think once our drivers have got rid of their first qualifying tyre, we will see a lot of medium runners. You can see Tap Shooter now on the in the McLaren here, the bright orange and purple McLaren, keeping ahead of Mr. Grumpy. At this stage, the 55 car, Mr. Grumpy racing. Let me just check on what colour is that. The 49 car, the turquoise 89 car there with the Joker on it as well. He's indicating to the right. That's usually an indication that the driver's headed into the pits, but I think perhaps not this time. I might have just left that indicator on. Mr. Grumpy, let's join him on board and see what kind of a slipstream he can get here. Currently rocking about 166 miles an hour. They won't quite make it all the way up to 200, I don't think, down the Mulsanne Straight before they have to get onto the brakes. About 115 metres. Mr. Grumpy gets the brakes on the car. Tremendous stopping power. These cars, heavy old cars though, so they do stop fairly. You can lean on that front axle, very, very heavy, before they will lock up. Appears to be an Elvis something to do with Elvis on the side of the car as well. Welcome if you're just joining us. We have got plenty of racing still to go. It is only lap 4 of a 2-hour endurance race here. We are racing for Bladder Cancer UK. You can see the Fight Bladder Cancer stickers on many of the cars. Here comes Mr. Grumpy now down the outside. He's on the medium tyres. I believe so is Tap Shooter, and he gets the nose ahead here as they head down towards Mulsanne corner at the end of the Mulsanne straight. He just gets the nose ahead there, just ekes his way towards the middle of the track. Just holding on to that track position. Needs to be careful, doesn't change his racing line too often. In fact, slightly defensive here. The normal line is to swing all the way to his right, our left, for the next corner, but he's just hanging on. Heading now down towards Indianapolis and getting the nose ahead and getting comfortably ahead actually as we speak. So the Mercedes with a bit better grip at this stage than the soft tyre shod Tap Shooter. Now Tap Shooter on the front right limit is doing really well, but it's actually his rear left that he's suffering the worst wear. You can see why he's struggling out of the certainly to exit out of right hand corners. Hops over the curb there, and he is losing a tenth or two every corner here from Mr. Grumpy, who's taken his time. You've got the former leader Payan in the Toyota Supra. He is coming up behind now Tap Shooter, and he put hard tyres on, did Payan. Let's have a look at Lee Cole. He put on mediums, so there's still a big mix of strategies going on. Lego YG88 in P9, still on the hard tyres that he started on. JP, is he bringing himself forward? He absolutely is, and he has now caught and passed HMFC in the Champion and Gulf livery Audi R8, and JP up to 12th, and on the soft tyres now is JP starting to move forward. Andy Winters pits at the end of his lap 4 of his soft tyres. Let's see how that brings him out relative to the drivers he was racing with before. Payan in 6th, who went onto hard tyres, so it's going to be very difficult for him to stay ahead here. Depends how poor those tyres were for Andy Winters. Look to be very poor indeed as Payan gets past Andy Winters in the pits. We can't see him in the pit lane. The game doesn't quite render that perfectly, and Lee Cole will also pass Andy Winters in the pits. There is Andy Winters on his way out, and Lee Cole has managed to get the undercut on Andy Winters, who comes out on medium tyres, what I imagine to be the favoured tyre tonight, with a full tank of fuel. Slightly confusing. I would imagine the drivers would prefer to be on about 3/4 of a tank of fuel on the medium tyre and about half a tank of fuel on the softs if they're coming out, just to maximise the amount of time they spend refueling. Excuse me, minimise the time they spend refueling and their overall lap times. However, they do have to continually put the same amount of fuel in the car each pit stop. So if you short fuel once, you're going to have to long fuel next, and that is how long, that is the biggest strategic element here, is how long you have to stop for fuel. Payan in 3rd is about 19 seconds behind Jamie, about 21.5 seconds behind Espuma, who leads this race currently. Payan was the pole sitter and is the net leader at this current stage, but in P3. Of course, anything can happen here in the race. You can see drivers that will go off into the gravel. They will lose the car. They will suffer mishaps and lose time. It is and holding on to the focus required over this long endurance time is a particular challenge for everybody concerned. I think we'll wait perhaps for the first medium runners to head into the pits. So we got 3 or 4 laps out of the soft tyre at the start. That was on full tanks of fuel. How many laps do we think the drivers will run the mediums and hards for from the start? That's a question for me. Sparking out the back of the Supra RC from Payan there on the way down into Mulsanne, just hopping over the curb. The drivers really have closed up very tightly here. The front two are a fair distance away from the main group, but the rearmost drivers very much hanging on here, which is good to see. I don't want to see drivers all the way back, miles away from the action. There's a half-second penalty on Lego IG88's car. Same on Goblin Guy. And JP has now passed Cablo as well. Cablo on the mediums, JP on the softs. Similar wear rates already. Remember, JP stopped at the end of lap 2 to get rid of those hard tyres he was not enjoying, and his personal best time on the previous lap of 4:01, which is actually 5 seconds slower than Payan's fastest time. So it is a little bit foreboding for our finish here if Payan is quite that much faster than everybody else. We shall see as things work out at the full race distance. There is JP getting past Goblin Guy's Alfa Romeo very, very easily due to the penalty on the car. Looks like Cablo's going to join him, and Espuma and Jamie at the lead of the race. They both pit now as well, and I'm sure will drop behind Payan, possibly Licol and Andy Winters as well. Oh, Payan off the hard tyres. He's gone for his second pit stop. So Payan not happy with those hards either. I think Payan is just getting rid of the least favoured tyres while he's got a bit of a gap up in the front. There goes Licol. He's on the mediums. He has yet to use the hards and experiment with them. So any driver waiting until their final stint for the hards may live to regret it, because the drivers on hards so far have really not enjoyed them, and they've shod those hards very quickly. Now JP, this is going to be interesting for JP. He passes everybody else, and remember, he started on the hards, has put the soft tyres on, and that is a good amount of ground gained by JP on the soft tyre stint here. I think he might get only 1 or maybe 2 laps out of these. But we've got Licol from Andy Winters, Blue Mosquito quietly moving his way up the order to P3 now, and JP in 4th with Jamie here, just coming out of the pits on the hard tyres. Same with Espuma. He's picked up a 3-second penalty. That is pretty massive, honestly, between the Arnage and Porsche curves. 3 seconds off throttle is going to be very difficult. Kane, or I'm assuming Kane is in fact Cablo. Kane and Cablo has apologised for taking somebody out in the corner. Maxi Boy taking Maxi Boy out in the corner, and Maxi Boy says it's okay. We're only here for charity after all. So nice bit of sportsmanship going on. Here is Payan. 2 pit stops to his name. Now he can focus on maximising the runs on these medium tyres, and he comes up behind Mr. Grumpy, who I don't think is going to be able to put up much of a fight given their relative pace at the moment. Mr. Grumpy drops behind. He's on the soft tyres, wow, and Payan on the mediums has managed to get those into operating condition very quickly. Payan then in the orange and green liveried Supra makes up another place. He is, though, at the moment 41 seconds off the lead of our race. So a reminder that we are here. Let's move up, because I think, was that Danger just ahead? A couple of cars getting a little bit close for comfort there. I thought maybe it was HM. No, it wasn't. Flashing his headlights. I'm quite sure what that's about. There's nobody near him. He's just playing with the buttons a little bit, but enjoying a personal fastest sector on the racetrack. We'll see shortly a really rough penalty coming up for Espuma. Past Courbe du Golf and towards the Indianapolis S's. Traditional Nissan livery on Jamie's car. This is where we will see those penalties be paid off. Here we go through the Arnage corner, attempting to run wide there. Watch the car in front slow, and now we slow on board the Jaguar, and the Nissan gets back on the throttle 2.5 seconds earlier. That is the difference that makes to Espuma, as he misses out, sadly, has to pay the penalty. So I thought I'd just give us a couple of minutes to think about the kind of work that our chosen charity tonight does. Let's hear from their YouTube channel about, listen to Daniel's story about bladder cancer.
I fell in love with Casey the moment I saw her, and the running joke was that she didn't feel the same at all. It took a while to come round, but you know, it all fell into place. Casey got a cough that wouldn't go away, and she was diagnosed on the 16th of January 2015. They took a biopsy, and the consultant told her she had stage 4 lung cancer, and it was inoperable and incurable. Our world changed. We got married in May 2015. She passed away April 2017. We never asked for a prognosis. We didn't want to know. We didn't try and determine a timescale of how long we had left. Getting extra time was everything. We did lots together. We went to Key West, Florida, Iceland, saw the Northern Lights, Jerusalem, the Western Wall. We both put our prayers on the wall, and she looked at me and she said, "I don't have to ask you what you prayed for." I said, "I know, but I don't think I'll ever get a PlayStation 4. We both cracked up. Those moments of humour remind you you're alive. Katie campaigned for life-enhancing drugs, you know, to be available to everybody. She believed it was people's right. The only thing that Katie wanted was to be well enough to have her wedding day. We've been through so much in those few months leading up to that. It was an explosion of joy. It was perfect, yeah. I kissed her every morning before I left work, every day when I came home, every night before I went to bed, and I told her I loved her each time. It's funny, you never actually say goodbye, but the chance to just look at one another and understand, and you were together, that means everything.
Sounds like that extra time that Chris was given with his wife was brought in no small part thanks to our charity tonight, Bladder Cancer UK. And please give generously through the links at the top of the live chat or on the description of today's video. Please make sure you give as generously as you can. We would love to support the charity as much as we possibly can here tonight. Back to the racing action as Lee Cole continues to lead this race. He's on the medium tyres against Andy Winters, who is managing to preserve those mediums a little bit better. Lee trying to make the most of clear track air here. Of course, no cars getting close to lapping one another just yet. We've got a little way to go, I think, before that might befall us. But currently, it is Lee Cole from Andy Winters with Blue Mosquito. Also, he's managing to use those hard tyres very well, very much better than everybody else. But he's flashing for fuel. I think this will be a heading into the pits job for Blue Mosquito, a valiant first stint here on the hard tyres. Really professional drive moving forward, and Blue Mosquito into P3 as before his first pit stop off those hard tyres. Now we've got Jamie in the white, red and blue Nissan, who moves forward into third place, of course gaining from Blue Mosquito's pit stop. Jamie's in on the hard tyres. It is lap 8. We are nearly half an hour through our 2-hour endurance race already, would you believe? Espuma on the racing hard tyres as well. Espuma ahead of Payan, who has had the pace of this race so far. Espuma's fastest lap only a 4:02, and there is Payan then, his fastest at 3:56, and his last lap was a 4-minute flat as well. So he is building that speed. He's still got the fastest lap of the race. He is in 5th place at the moment on the preferred tyre. 2 short stints to shed the softs and the hards, and now the medium tyres running very nicely indeed for Payan in the Supra. There we go, gets down into the first chicane. Closing now on the Jaguar. I imagine that Jaguar punching a nice big hole in the air for the Supra. See the slipstream building slowly but surely. Now it gets pretty extreme for Payan, and racing through and past he goes. Now up to 4th position, however some 42 seconds off the lead of this race. He's really gone for a pretty brave strategy here to do 2 quick pit stops and get onto the medium tyres. We will see. Of course, he picks up a purple sector of the racetrack using that slipstream, so that worked out really well for Payan. He caught the Jaguar very nicely. Espuma might have a little bit of a slipstream, but back in turn you tend to get this sort of alternate passing going on down into each of the biggest stops on the racetrack. Little nudge onto one of our turquoise bollards there, not enough to break it, I think. And in fact, unfortunately, Payan picks up a penalty. Espuma picks up a penalty going through that position. But just behind them is still Mr. Grumpy, still flashing that indicator, that right indicator. Mercedes here, the turquoise colour scheme. We'll keep the Petronas sponsors very happy. Where is JP? At the head of the second pack here, JP on the medium tyres. JP was kind enough to organise this race tonight. He has a personal connection to the Bladder Cancer charity, and it is on behalf and in memory of his stepfather that we race tonight predominantly. So thank you, JP, for bringing your stepfather's memory to life yearly with this charity race. The drivers really enjoy the opportunity to do something good with the thing that they love best, of course, which is racing around in convoluted circles. Lee Cole and Andy Winters have gone into the pits. They are getting rid of their medium tyres, their fuel respectively. Well, Lee Cole's fuel in the Dodge Viper really worn out, very low fuel. Jamie here will have the opportunity, I think, to pass the cars in front, as quite a significant gap had developed. So we'll see if he gets himself up onto the front of the race. It's possible that that gap was too great. Well, Jamie does get past, and so I believe does Payan. Comes past the pit lane exit. So lots of fuel going on Andy Winters and Lee Cole's car as Espuma through. Lee Cole now successfully out of the pits. He's got onto the hard tyres, so he's going to have to play the ice driving game that the drivers obviously often complain that the hard tyres feel like driving on ice. So he'll be feeling that, especially very, very early into this stint. A reminder that this is a simulated 24-hour run, so it is about to get quite dark. You can see the sun setting and the trackside lights coming on, and at that point we will have a very different set of racing to look at on screen. I hope you're enjoying the race tonight. If you are, give us a shout on the live chat. Let us know that you're here, who you're supporting. It's very interesting for me as a commentator to know, and ask any questions if you like to. You can follow us on socials. Obviously, subscribe to this channel, JPTV23, and like the video today. You can follow me at WebORed5 on Twitter and YouTube if you enjoy the commentary. But most importantly, the biggest way you can thank us tonight is to give something to our charitable cause here, Bladder Cancer UK, on the Just Giving link that you can find at in our coverage, either in the live chat or indeed on the description of the video. You can see. So let me just check this out. What have we got at the moment? We're looking for some new donations, but I will give a quick shout out to those who have already given. That is Sea-Tice Demon. He has been very generous. We've had some anonymous gifts. Blue Mosquito has given, and we are very grateful to that. So lots of donations already. I'm hoping to persuade my workplace to help out as well after the event. I'll get onto that in the morning once I've done what I've done tonight. And then we have P6 JP, the host of tonight's racing action. Currently in 6th place. He's doing well on the medium tyres and fuel usage. He's ahead of IG88's car. 2 Aston Martins. We've got the DBR9 and the V12 Vantage, both been selected here tonight. No similar cars, no team dynamics here to worry about. Nobody's looking out for each other or playing games with each other's strategy. So even if they have similar looking cars or the same manufacturer, they all are racing for themselves. It's just for fun, for bragging rights, and for the glory tonight. There's that beautiful Alfa Romeo 4C, driven by Goblin Guy. And you can see the sun starting to set now, and certain points of our racetrack. Apologies, folks. I hope you're going to stay. We're still on, but we've had a slight snafu. This even affected, would you believe, the virtual 24 hours of Le Mans. So that's it is more than a more than frequent occurrence. Just a reminder, we will get ourselves back racing soon, I'm sure, and so do hang on with us. This is a great time. This is a really great time for us to give to the charity, if you would please, while we get everything back together. We have got a dead lobby, but I'm sure that the drivers will start up again. S-Boomer says, "Oh no," I said, "Don't worry about it. I'm sure we'll be able to start a new lobby and get ourselves back to racing action soon enough." Hopefully JP will be back with us. Kane tells us that he saw JP go off in front of him, so his internet might have died. Well, we will give him, of course, plenty of time to get back running. I would have expected to have heard from JP already, so it could well be exactly that. Someone has kicked the plug out of the socket on the internet, or there's some sort of outage. So unfortunately, that's caused the pause in our action tonight. But no worries. As I say, we will get back with you very soon. I think while we wait for that one, let's hear another message, shall we, from our chosen charity tonight. That is Bladder Cancer UK, and this is Rebecca's story.
There are 3 simple changes I tell all of my arthritis patients to make.
Today's a really amazing event. This is a massive fashion show and afternoon tea. It's really great for us all to get together, and it's quite good fun.
I'm so looking forward to seeing you on the catwalk. You did so well the last couple of years.
She's a wonderful spirit. We've been married for a couple of years now. The day I proposed was the day before her chemo.
On my first 6-week checkup, I got told the cancer had spread and it was actually now stage 4 and that they wouldn't be able to cure it.
How you've dealt with everything is absolute credit to you and to Ming supporting you.
From the moment I got diagnosed, telling Ming and telling my loved ones was obviously going to be one of the hardest things.
Your cancer diagnosis definitely brought our group closer together because we suddenly had a reason that we needed to have a group chat or go for dinner.
I really felt the love. I've restarted a new clinical trial. I'm really hoping that this new drug will keep it stable for as long as possible. Like, I might be able to get a couple of years out of it before, I'm needing to move on to anything else.
You are such a strong, brave person. You are just one of the most incredible people I've ever met.
I can't imagine what life would be like without the treatments. I don't think she would have made it this far. The fact that there's a choice of trying has been really important. For me, my focus is on making sure she's happy.
Everybody deserves to live as long as possible, as well as possible. Modern cancer treatments have given some incurable cancer patients the gift of time, quality with family, friends. Please support our campaign to access these treatments around the UK. This is the message from Fight Bladder Cancer, our chosen charity tonight, and I hope that you are sufficiently motivated to give a little bit extra here for our charity tonight. So hopefully we will be underway very shortly, and the driver's just organising the starting grid, and then we'll be underway for you. I did see on the lobby that they'd scheduled us for 90 minutes. Now that does seem a little bit over the top. I don't know if that is the only thing that they can say they can select. So I wonder if we've got rain on the surface as well as we waited here to go. The drivers just having their chats. I'm sure that everybody will be sporting and honest enough to use the right tyres. They were all keeping track of their own tyres at least, so it's all coming nicely. The driver's just getting everything reorganised for us. They'll be back in action for you soon. There we can see the drivers all underway. I've just had a message there that will start at 35 past. I think that might be a little bit late, so I think it might mean 25 past. Let's see. But yeah, the grid being reorganized for us, thankfully. It's not a straightforward thing to rebuild in time for us. We may have to start the race in bright daylight once again and simulate the running. Here we can see the start order. It will be Tap Shooter in the lead with the pit stop offset, and they're underway for us, I think, here. So let me do my best to get the screen organised, and a reminder that I can't select a onboard camera here until we go. But here we go then, underway for what I imagine to be a further 90 minutes of racing here at Le Mans, with Tap Shooter in the lead. A little sniff to the inside of the third place goes Andy Winters, and it looks like is that Lee Cole trying to get ahead here. He's put the soft tyres on to start this race, to restart this race, I should say, and skips through past Tap Shooter there into the lead of the race goes Lee Cole. So first is Lee, second is the orange McLaren, third is the orange Supra here of Pyan, and he gets a great exit out of the corner on the medium tyres. Lee Cole on the softs getting away from him, but the McLaren unable really to defend from the brilliant exit out of Tertre Rouge that Pyan managed to get even on those medium tyres. So up and ahead. Let's see the top three as they head towards the first chicane for the first time, as the McLaren skips to the inside, just slightly unsettles the BMW here of Andy Winters behind him, and it gives me an opportunity then to get out of the screen and get you a trackside camera, which is a lot easier to watch. Through they go then. First is Lee Cole, second is Pyan with Tap Shooter, third, and fourth is Andy Winters still. Blue Mosquito is sitting there in the fifth place, and he is defending from IG88 with the guy with the Lego name at the start. Let's get you some proper organised screens as Blue Mosquito is now defending on the inside here, as Andy Winters is defending on the inside, is actually on the attack down the inside into Mulsanne corner, and he gets a tap in the nose for a moment, and there you see a lovely old glitch there from the game. That'll be well worth a clip as the McLaren went trampolining through the Mulsanne corner. And we've still got further action here from Blue Mosquito versus IG88. IG88 again has the inside line coming into the very difficult Indianapolis section. Goblin Guy in the 4C, I think there was some contact there on the inside, and he's run wide through Indianapolis into the gravel, losing ground, and the old style Supra behind, I think Danger's car just struggling away, and then you get an idea of how much the field spread has occurred already, and away we go. So we have got Blue Mosquito, but first of all that was Tap Shooter trying to get the place back from Andy Winters. Tap Shooter's gone from first down to fourth in one lap. So really struggling here at the moment. Andy Winters has gone onto the soft tyres and is looking pretty racy here against Payan's mediums. Those soft tyres really well up to racing temperature now. Looking good for him. Down we go into the Ford chicane first of all, which feeds straight into the Raccordement chicane. To the mini start-finish straight past the pit lane, famous of course pit lane area, before heading on to the next lap, which begins at the Dunlop corner here, the right-hander. A little bit of lag still. I do think it's possible that our host or some of our drivers have not got the best connectivity tonight, but we will persist, we will keep trying, and we will have we will race until the clock hits 90 minutes. It seems we only had the choice between 60 and 90, so we couldn't customize that to the correct distance. Never mind, we will enjoy the race nonetheless, hopefully without further glitches. Of course, the drivers were starting to get used to the darkening skies above them, but they're back into daylight again now that things have restarted, as Denja goes very, very wide there through the Tourterelle Rouge, which will hurt him all the way down until the first chicane here, and passing him goes Jamie in the red, white and blue Nismo Nissan. And just to add insult to injury there, Denja has picked up a penalty as well. Gets a nice slipstream on the back of the Nissan, does that Super GT 500. Down into the first chicane they go, nose to tail. Denja might be able to gain back that half second just with slipstream alone here, if he's very careful with it, but he picks up another half second, and the helicopter loses ground to the cars as they get closer and closer to 200 miles an hour. I don't think they'll get all the way there though, unfortunately. It's a quick run down the field. Mr. Grumpy is in 11th. JP stuck back in 12th. That's going to hurt because he was moving further forward than that. Brings himself up towards the back of the Mercedes. JP on the medium. We know JP's used all of his tyres. Harry flashing those headlights. Not sure that's going to bother JP at this stage. HMFC trying to get a good view of this battle between Mr. Grumpy and JP. S Boomer also looking a little bit racy here, although if he can't make the pass stick going into the next corner, he will take that penalty. I wonder how far Denja will drop back with this 1 second penalty as well. But there is JP alongside the Mercedes, gets down the inside, nicely done. The Mercedes, oh, does JP manage to hang on? He does, just around the outside of Indianapolis. Very much puts his faith in the driver on the inside, on Mr. Grumpy, and through they go, through Arnage and into Buisson, where they will take those penalties. You'll see the Mercedes dropping back dramatically, and Denja drop back as well behind the Alfa Romeo here of Goblin Guy and into the clutches of S Boomer. So early days still on the race, but we are what are we? Yes, race time wise we are 38 minutes deep into the race. We did race just over the half an hour before the race went, but we'll have to forget about that sort of 7 or 8 minutes that we raced before. Into Ford chicane we go. Oh, very, very wide from Denja, and he goes into the gravel, round, turns the car round, goes, well, I was going to say goes into reverse, but he doesn't. I think he got hit, did he? Unfortunately. Something sent him flying backwards into the gravel. Danger all the way down then into our last position, 14th place, unfortunately, for him, and on the soft tyres nonetheless. And he's past the pit lane, so he can't even bail to the pits. Down to 14th then. There he goes. Anyway, let's catch up with our leader, Lee Cole. He is on the soft tyres and is pulling out that gap to Payan and to the tune of 2.8 seconds. He's had a very, very good second lap here. Remember, in the first part of our race, Payan's fastest lap was a 3:56. Well, Payan's already set that 3:56 once again. He's on the medium tyres, so Payan absolutely on fire at this stage. He's got so much pace on the car. And you can see already the sun setting that little bit quicker than it did in the previous race. So we're already seeing some long shadows, bright sunlight developing. The sun is going to be obviously hurting them as they brake for Arnage to the right hand at the western point, of course. And that is pretty much the only place they'll be really heavily braking towards the west, isn't it? The rest of the time they are sort of at full pace. This lap is a 70% full throttle lap for these GT cars, so plenty of time to take a drink and to assess. The other thing that their drivers are going to have to be cognizant of here is that relative to the first half an hour of racing, the wind has changed direction to a northwesterly wind, almost a tailwind, certainly a crosswind down much of the Mulsanne Straight and into those chicanes, so that is going to affect them significantly. Payan now 3.1 seconds behind Lee Cole. Andy Winters keeping them honest as well, despite picking up penalties fairly frequently. And there in the background you can see Tap Shooter making a little bit of a mess out of the Mulsanne corner, and IG88 not needing a second invitation to get through. He blasts past on the soft tyres, presumably feeling a little bit held up there by the McLaren on the hards, on the mediums. And he's blocking him slightly. It's that beautiful golden hour sunshine coming through the trees. And he's defending to the inside is IG88. Tap Shooter not wanting to really force the issue at this stage, racing with the Carlos Sainz Jr. car number 55. Tap Shooter. I don't know if that's deliberate or there is an American racer that uses 55 that I'm not aware of. Behind them, Blue Mosquito, who had a hell of a first half an hour of this race. Not having quite so much fun at this stage. He's on the medium tyres. The hards really seeming to suit his Honda NSX. So I wonder if we will see him back on those hard tyres, because he really did have a great first stint. Oh, a little bit of action going on behind here. Goblin Guy on S Boomer. They've swapped round a couple of times. Goblin Guy down the inside on the way into the Porsche curve and then into Dupont. S is decarting past Maison Blanche before heavily braking into the Ford chicane. Danger has left the room. I wonder if that was down to that there was a voluntary leaving of the race, because he did drop down, didn't he, to the last position. Into the pits then comes both our leader Lee Cole and Goblin Guy in P8. Just getting the car stopped, just rubbing the front wing as well against the tyres, and he's in P9. There is Lee Cole's pit stop underway. So Payan takes the lead again as the sun sets and we get a little bit deeper into the nighttime racing than we managed before, and now we see the beautiful cars here in the twilight. And when we see it in the pitch black of night, it will be absolutely gorgeous. We're right on board, because there's very little you can see from the perspective of the onboard on the trackside cameras. Very few floodlights really. You can see this one facing in the direction of travel, so as not to blind the drivers. But we're going to have far less issues with lapping vehicles than you see in the full-on Le Mans, because we're only single class racing naturally, and of course we had our race foreshortened slightly there with the first glitch. second place, Andy Winters, as the stars come out, and the race in less than a lap has gone into virtually full night conditions. Third place is IG88 in the DC Shoes livery car. This is a well-lit section of the track, the chicane. Before we head deep into the French countryside once again. There is Tap Shooter in the yellow headlight McLaren 650S. He's running fourth at this stage, with Jamie behind him in his mirrors. Certainly can see him in his mirrors, especially with the nighttime conditions. Jamie fifth, Blue Mosquito in sixth place on the medium tyres. In seventh, S Boomer, ahead of Mr. Grumpy's Mercedes. JP runs ninth. Cablo there with the almost orange camo livery in the Porsche 911. He is running in 10th place on the mediums, with fresh tyre shod Lee Cole just behind him. Just peels out from the slipstream on the approach to Indianapolis corner. Just gets the nod just ahead. He'll be on the brakes sharp after the right-hander and into the left-hander. Then it's a big stop into Arnage. Slowest corner on the racetrack here. Can really catch you unawares. And this is when this game really, for me, comes into its own. And you can see how beautiful it is. I think what I'm going to do is turn off some of the screen information. And get a look at the race in its natural form. Oh wow, right up against the wall was Cablo at that point. Into the pits is Andy Winters from second. So let's run. Oh wow, Cablo is really struggling at the moment. So he ran wide a moment ago and he's still struggling to get that car back under control. Goblin Guy currently at the tail of our field because we lost previous driver, unfortunately. That was Danger. He has gone from the race, but Payan is the leader of the race here, driving very well indeed. See, you can't even see a car behind him. He's now 14 seconds in front, thanks to those pit stops of Andy Winters. Really gaining very well indeed. There's a 356, 358, 358 his last 3 laps. Very handy indeed. This is what the racetrack looks like from the perspective of the in-car view. See the race in gorgeous nightfall as Tap Shooter in the McLaren runs second, but he's 15 seconds off Payan's lead. Jamie just outside of the 1 second gap here, but car picking up pace, even with that distant tow, is managing to pick up some slipstream. Through they go into and out of second chicane. Blue Mosquito hanging on, but he's got a penalty on the car at the moment. Blue Mosquito is on, if memory serves, the medium tyre, and it was the hards hit that he was really favouring. Coming past Blue Mosquito is S Boomer. He's in the Jaguar, green, red and black Jaguar. lick of blue flame coming out of both cars on downshifts, going down into the Mulsanne corner, and a personal best time thanks to that slipstream there for Espuma, who gets the nod, gets ahead, and he's still in the pit stop window of the leader. The leader only 25 seconds up the road. We are only on the 5th lap of this restart. That 1 second penalty on the car for Blue Mosquito. JP finding himself very much alone here, where our erstwhile leaders Lee Cole and Andy Winters run 7th and 8th. They are 39 seconds off the lead and 50.5 seconds off the lead respectively. So a long way to go to get themselves back into contention, because Payan will be closing in fairly soon. Let's turn everything off for a few minutes, shall we, while it's this nighttime setting. And it looks so good. This is Lee Cole in the Dodge Viper. Behind him, you have to trust me on this, behind him is Andy Winters in the BMW. No, sorry, behind him is Cablo and Harry Kane. DC shoes of Kane getting on past Harry's. That car looking very racy there for Kane. Let's get back on our race info, shall we? It is IG88, who is otherwise known as Kane. It's challenging now Cablo. We do need to know the tyres, really, don't we? We've had a fair amount of time enjoying the full screen vantage. And here is the battle for 9th place. Blue Mosquito has pitted off his medium tyres. So has HMFC, in the pits. There is Blue Mosquito's car. Payan with the fastest lap and the lead, nearly 25 seconds to the good at the moment. Payan is on medium tyres, likely to pit at the end of this lap, so it looks like it's a 6 complete lap run the medium tyres can do from brim tanks. Certainly when you're racing as hard as Payan is. Still rack up those pit stops, won't you, as a result? Please remember to give generously to our cause tonight. That is the Bladder Cancer UK, or Fight Bladder Cancer. See what you can give and what we can build our total to for the charity, if at all possible. So Tap Shooter going a little bit better in this restarted race than he did in the first race, as we are in full night conditions. Espuma bringing that car forward as well, although low on fuel. Everybody fighting the fuel gauge at the moment to bring the car back. The cars will enter low fuel mode if they do run this too marginal, but hopefully the drivers will get themselves sorted out and into the pits very soon. I imagine Payan will be on his way in. He may need to blend the throttle, turn the engine down slightly, lift and coast into the corners just to ensure he can get the maximum out of this in-lap. Absolutely streaking through the Porsche corners. struggling with the karting corners. And then down towards the Ford chicane, but he'll peel off into the pit lane at this stage, I do believe. In he comes. So, pit stop number 1 at the end of lap 6 of this restart for Payan. Likewise, I expect to see Tap Shooter in, S Boomer in, and Lee Cole to be back up in the thick of it again. Had dropped down significantly. He's been able to put the medium tyres on again. JP is right with him as well. So JP bringing himself forward. He was 12th at the start of this race. Into the pit comes JP. Yes, indeed. Lots of drivers rubbing that front left wing, and then Lee Cole heading down the start-finish straight, and he regains the lead of our race. He did manage to get the undercut on Tap Shooter, on S Boomer, and on Payan. They will sort themselves out shortly, I think. Andy Winters also with the undercut, is he? Let's see. Nobody coming out of the pits in front of him. That is Payan's car coming out in P3 again. So Andy Winters and Lee Cole with the undercut, making that work nicely. There is Payan on fresh mediums, and he stopped later than the other drivers, has brimmed the tanks with fuel. That could prove quite pivotal later, because Lee Cole definitely put less fuel in that less fuel in his Dodge Viper than the other two. But Payan has brimmed the tanks and looking to try and get the full 6 further laps deep into the race before having to pit again. How would that work out? If he does, say, 24 minutes, that would mean he would need 4 total pit stops, I believe. So that could work out well. I'm sure he's done his maths and he knows how to run this, but with the truncation down to 90 minutes, the drivers were furiously recalculating. Thankfully, those long straight sections of the Mulsanne Straight and the down towards Indianapolis will give the drivers plenty of time to work out their tyre and fuel usage calculations. I don't know if they just get deep enough into the race and think, oh, okay, I know what I need now. But they'll be watching their fuel rate as well as anybody. So here is IG88. Now he has stopped for soft tyres already, and he's running down his fuel. I don't think he will have put a lot of fuel in the car when he did stop, knowing that he only had to run the soft tyres. And he's brought himself up 22 seconds off the lead of the race. He's in 4th place. And Payan losing at least, I'd say, 6 or 7 seconds to Andy Winters and Lee Cole through the course of their pit stops. But will Lee Cole and Andy Winters have to stop one more time than Payan, I wonder. IG88 just seeming to belabour the corner of Mulsanne corner. It is a difficult one to get just right. It is a blind apex, and you're turning and braking at the same time from VMAX pretty much. Cars can't go a lot faster than they go heading into that corner. Sometimes the braking marker boards are really, really tiny as well. Next time down the Mulsanne, I'll ride on board from the driver's eye view. I don't know whether the drivers are using bonnet cam or chase view, or my preferred, which is cockpit cam, but whatever camera you're using, it can be really difficult to monitor exactly when those braking boards turn up. The last half of the racetrack is much more traditional racetrack style. You really can pick up your visual cues that you need. Blue Mosquito is right in the mix of this fight, but unfortunately he's going to exit stage right shortly. heading down here to the chevrons, and he will go off throttle, and coming past him will be JP and Jamie. Through they go. This is JP's, I was going to say day glow green, it's almost night glow, isn't it? It's almost got a night vision goggle effect on that green on the DB9. But JP in 9th now. After his first pit stop, he's gone on to medium tyres, and Jamie getting very close to the tyres on the way through Porsche and Dupont corners. You can see the difference in top speed though, with Payan's fastest times being 3:56, and JP and others at this section of the racetrack only managing a 4:02. Car behind him, Jamie, managing 2 laps at 4-minute flat, but still with a 4-second delta to the fastest laps from Payan. Here's Blue Mosquito. He managed a 4-minute flat on his second lap, but is now circulating at 4:08, and his previous lap was a 4:35. Blue Mosquito dropping backwards, and he's put new mediums on, and I wonder if he's better off on the hards after that first 30-40 minutes that we raced in the first stint. He did seem to bring himself forward relative to the others, where no one else likes the hard tyres, but he seemed to do really well on them. Lee Cole then, doing nicely himself. He's on the medium tyres, he's running them through fairly low on fuel, didn't stop a great deal for fuel, but he's still pulling out more of a gap to Andy Winters, who's on the same tyres, stopped the same lap, but did put the fuel on. Andy Winters' tyre wear much better than Lee Cole, but I think this might be a calculation on Lee Cole's side, just to really get through the night cycle here on low fuel, go aggressive, and see where the strategy works out later on. Payan has caught Andy Winters fairly significantly. He's still though 20.4 seconds away from the lead of this race in 3rd place. Right on board then, it's right on board the McLaren tap shooter there. You can see the 300, 200 and 100 metre boards going into the second chicane. It is, in my view, it's harder to see the first chicane. It's right on board Cablo's Porsche 911. There is a good reflective there. I think just was the 3. There's the 2. There's the 100 metre, and down we go through the gears. But just picking those braking boards out, very difficult. I think it's harder actually in the daylight, because there's so much trackside furniture and things, whereas in the night the reflective surface of the braking boards really does only pick up braking boards rather than everything else. But still, it feels like a long lonely ride here at the back of the grid, waiting for those marker boards to show up, and they're so far away from your car, with the track being so wide on the way in to these chicanes as well. Sort of a French dual carriageway, at least 3-lane, if not 4 sections of the Mulsanne Straight. So Lee Cole 16.5 seconds in the lead of the race. Into the pits we go, off the medium tyres, running low on fuel now, and time for pit stop number 2, only at the end of lap 8. I think Andy Winters will get another lap or 2 before he needs to stop again. So 3 very different strategies here, running at the top 3 of our grid at the moment. IG88 30.7 seconds behind the leader. He's coming into the pits as well. So Goblin Guy likewise. So I think Lee Cole is going to end up behind them as well. What a shower of sparks coming off the tail of the M6 from Andy Winters as he goes into the Tetre Rouge. Sorry, no, through Descente de la Chapelle after the Dunlop corner into Tetre Rouge. Now and out again, skipping over the exit curb. It's all This is the most important starting corner though, to get your run all the way down the straight. Let's see. So Payan is only 4 seconds away from Andy Winters. He stopped end of lap 6. Andy Winters, I think, stopped end of lap 5. And Lee Cole, well, he's come out, managed to make it back out in 3rd place with the pit stops of everybody else happening. So that's worked out well for Lee Cole, although he is 32.5 seconds away from Andy Winters' car, 28 seconds away from Payan. And now back on the medium tyres and another full tank of fuel here for Lee Cole. The cars will run faster lap times on sort of half tanks of fuel. If you're committing to medium runs, sometimes it's better to only fill up to halfway or just over, if that's the limit of your fuel. Really, full tank only really benefits you on the hard tyres, because of course you can run those hard tyres for the entirety of that fuel stint, whereas the medium tyres will run out before a full tank of fuel will run out. Oh, Jamie struggling there across the first chicane, and JP catching him now. Whether it'll be enough by the time he gets there. JP looking for that slipstream here. Join him on board. I don't think it is enough. Let's see, does Jamie make less of a meal out of chicane number 2? Could just be lag. That's the other factor. But no, it looks like JP managing to get a personal best sector there, sector 2, thanks to slipstream effect building up. And the sun is starting to rise, I think, behind JP's car. Got a red sky developing. I don't know if we're going to be seeing any rain today, but weather is on, I should say, so it is possible that we will see some rain tonight. The drivers, I imagine, would probably prefer not to have the rain, but I'm sure we'll enjoy it nonetheless. Half a second penalty, not for the first time here on Mr. Grumpy's Mercedes. As JP gets closer and closer here on the back of Jamie. Tempted to have a little look there into the left-hand section of Indianapolis. He's stamping on the brakes about now. Speculative move on the inside. Jamie gives him room, and they cooperate pretty nicely there. They don't actually clash, but it's not really worth ramming another driver off in a 2-hour race. But JP struggling for top speed a little bit here. The next corner is a left, but the next significant braking point is a right-hander, and it looks like the Aston Martin just ahead needs to carefully balance the car into the apex, because he's off the racing line. But there goes JP as we see Andy Winters in the pits for the second time now. End of lap 9 for Andy Winters. That might be slightly ahead of schedule. So Payan picks up the lead of the race once again. Of course, I'm reading it as lap 9 of this restarted race rather than lap 9 overall. We are approaching halfway distance of this particular restart. Well over halfway distance for our entire coverage. And there you see JP picking up fastest personal best time for himself, and then coming out of the pits just behind Espuma, and Andy Winters has managed to just get ahead of the Jaguar. That's really going to help, and just as I cut away, JP slow through the first Dunlop corner, and struggling to hang on to track position as the sun is now almost completely risen. We get past the dawn section. Espuma really trying to take advantage of the fact that Andy Winters is on cold tyres, getting very, very close here. I don't know if he'll get a run slipstream. What are we at? 178 miles an hour. Having a little sniff. He needs to be on the other side here. Down into the brakes just after Andy Winters. And likewise, when we go back to Jamie and JP, Blue Mosquito getting very loose at the rear, coming through just behind them. It's close racing despite how deep into the race we are. Espuma is going to drop off that battle though with Andy Winters now with the penalty on the car. And Lee Cole, 27 seconds behind Payan, is not really catching Payan now. He's in the tyre warm-up phase of his mediums. Not as dramatically though as Andy Winters. Tap Shooter leads this battle in P3 with Andy Winters in P4, and Espuma soon to drop off this a little bit thanks to the penalty on the car. A couple more corners to go before that takes effect though. Oh, a very, very late stamp on the brakes from Espuma and completely pitches Andy Winters wide through Mulsanne, and very dirty tyres on the BMW M6 GT3. That was clumsy from Espuma. He lost out. I don't know if he will hang out here and wait to let him past. Can't be too generous. Because you may cause problems for the drivers, but JP and Jamie slip on through that battle very neatly indeed. Keep an eye whether Espuma messed up there just earlier on in practice. I managed to do that to someone, so I know how easy it is. You just get late on the brakes, it's really hard to position the car anything other than running into the side of the car in front. There is Espuma waiting for the penalty that will hit now, so half a second off throttle. Blue Mosquito easily passed, I'm assuming, yes, and Andy Winters, a bit fired up I imagine in the race car, being let through by Espuma, so he has been let through, very nice indeed. Oh, we got some support from Lydia, who's supporting JP, who is hosting this one, and that was Blue Mosquito going wide and off into the gravel. Sadly, there he goes, grounding the car out, almost dipping the car into the gravel, but doing a good job of recovery. Blue Mosquito out of that battle then, and suddenly a really tight group of drivers is suddenly spread out thanks to the accident, the incident and the accident in turn. All drivers in between pit stops at the moment, so heading on through, then through the final chicane at the racetrack before starting lap 11 about now. There we go. So nearly 42 minutes deep into this 90-minute session of the total 2-hour race time. Blue Mosquito decided to pit off his tyres, and Jamie following JP. No let up for JP here, but he's brought himself into 4th place. He is 52.5 seconds 52 seconds off the lead of the race, currently held by Payan from Lee Cole, Tap Shooter and JP here on screen. This battle ongoing. Jamie's doing very well on the hard tyres. The other drivers really wanted to shed those hards very quickly. He's using them for a short fuel stint. I don't think he's gone from full tanks on these hards, but he's doing a reasonable stint on them, rather than what we saw the drivers do earlier, which was certainly on JP's car, just 1 or 2 laps on each of the soft and the hard tyres, just to get rid of them and fulfill the criteria of using every compound. Of course, that goes out the window if it rains, so a very calculating driver might decide that the chances of rain over a long endurance race are fairly high, so why not use the best tyres for the majority of the race and then play around pit stops later on if it's required. It doesn't seem like any of our drivers have decided to do that. They've actually taken the pain early and got that out of the way. It looks like the gap just opening now to about 0.8 of a second here. Let's have a quick look at Payan, blasting past our trackside cameras. And He is now 29 seconds in the lead of the race. We have done our night stage of the race, so it will be daytime through to the end, I do believe. It's only one single day cycle, so that's good. A reminder, please, if you can, remember to give generously to our charity tonight. The link for the Just Giving page is at the top of the live chat and in the description of the video as well. I hope I typed that right anyway. I had to do it on a PlayStation controller, so hopefully that will still work. Let's go back to JP and Jamie where the action was taking place. Lots of pressure on JP here. Just doing my job here. That's the point. We're trying to make sure that everybody gives what they can for our charity tonight. Slowest corner on the racetrack here through the Arnage corner. Drivers navigating safely enough. JP wearing through these mediums now, 1/4 of a tank of petrol left. The total on the Just Giving page is at £250, so we'd love to increase that before our time is run tonight. There goes Espuma, Jaguar. Imagine that's feeling a little the worse for wear after clattering into a BMW earlier on. Now Andy Winters clearly pitted again. He's running a minute 3 behind the lead of the race. Normally that would be being lapped kind of zone, but because this is a near 4 minute or over 4 minute lap, depending on your performance level. Some distance yet to run on that one. I'm not sure. Now that we restarted with 90 minutes to go, I'm not sure we will actually see that happen. Man is trying his best though to lap as many people as he can. In comes Espuma from P7, or P6 as it was, for new tyres. Goblin guy, I'm assuming we'll get through past Espuma. That looked like lag rather than performance, and a very elaborate diffuser on the back of the 4C Group 3 car. Through he goes. Espuma's still in the pits, refueling. You can see the fuel bowser going in. He's gone for a GlaxoSmithKline sponsor on the car rather than the charity itself. It's a medical development, obviously a good part of the Bladder Cancer charity's work, and awareness and trials and what have we that help alleviate symptoms and elongate life for people unfortunate enough to have. Wow, look at that one. Some good style points for Mr. Grumpy. He'll be getting drift scores for that one. And a personal best sector, just hanging on for grim life to the edge of those soft tyres, really thrashing them around now. There we go. Blue Mosquito finds himself, now he has gone onto the hard tyres on a full tank of fuel, and I think that will be good for him. He definitely made good use of them earlier on. Last place is HMFC. He's just rounding Tertre Rouge to start the Mulsanne straight again. We have passed the official halfway point of this stint, well into the latter half of our overall coverage tonight. Car looking very nice indeed. We do with a few more sponsors on it though, than the Audi R8. Here is Payan continuing to lead. This is a real challenge for the drivers to maintain their focus as he comes through the Porsche curves into the assisted karting. His fuel is flashing, so I imagine another pit stop is now nigh, and there he is doing 6 lap stints exactly on the medium tyres. I'm going to be interested to see what fuel strategy he switches to here, what fuel level he fills to, because he is absolutely on the money for these medium stints, isn't he, Payan? Flashing low on fuel, running his tyres to the end of their treads, and just in time, just in coordination with one another. Here is Lee Cole then. He's going to pass by Payan as he's refueling and retake the lead of the race. There he goes. Will Tap Shooter do the same? How far down is Tap Shooter? The fuel is still going in to Payan's car. No, he won't retake Payan because he's coming into the pits and he's making a real mess of that one. Thankfully, looks like JP's managed to make an overtake on the way into the pits. That was some drama there, as Tap Shooter messed up his pit lane entry. In comes JP then from P4. He'll be pleased to see Tap Shooter and Jamie both come into the pits after him, because they were with him on track, so he won't have to be racing blind. He'll know exactly who he's racing against and how. Where is Payan then, and what did he put on the car? He brimmed the tanks. He brimmed the tanks, so he is going super aggressive on the fuel. And Lydia says, go JP. A nice overtake in the pit lane from JP, wasn't it? You don't often see that, so very nicely done. We had the most monumental glitch on the first lap of this restart, and I think it was the McLaren who went skywards. So if anyone's watching and wants to find the time code for that, I'd love you to drop it in the chat, because I'm sure we're going to want to clip that one for future. We've now gone to a near complete tailwind down the Mulsanne Straight, and it looks like some moisture is rolling in. We've got misty skies. Let's see, yeah, it is starting to look a little bit unpleasant out there. And anybody just pitting now, their hearts will start to sink, because this could throw a real spanner in their works. I'm not sure it's going to really badly affect Payan. He's got such incredible underlying pace. Look at those times on the right hand side of your screen as he built the speed towards the end of his medium stint there. 3:58, 57, 58, 56, and the fastest lap of the race on his in lap on worn mediums was Payan. But this is starting to look a little bit less than dry for the drivers out there. So it wouldn't surprise me to see some precipitation rolling in to our race. You can just see in the background, that is Andy Winter's BMW. That's how far away he is from Payan's car. Lee Cole has a 22-second lead, but a pit stop still to make relative to Payan. But the longer he runs these stints relative to Payan, the higher the chance that he makes one fewer pit stop. Now, incoming weather could change everything for the drivers. Not seeing any splashing on the racetrack just yet, or spray coming off the vehicles, so I think we're dry for the time being, but visibility definitely being affected at this stage. Lee Cole leads from Payan, from Andy Winters, from IG88. Goblin Guy is P5, and then a nice battle here. Tap Shooter has got back ahead of JP after the pit stop. He did fit, like he did refuel by a smaller amount of fuel. He's on the medium tyre. Things getting very, very complicated here. S Boomer gets ahead, and we've seen him not be the most clinical and tidy of racecraft drivers, and in fact Jamie gets ahead of JP now, so it's not going super well here for JP at this stage of proceedings. The same amount of fuel on board as Jamie, so JP struggling with the warm-up phase of these tyres. Should get a triple slipstream though down these long straights, just finding a little bit of room on the racetrack. That's the difficulty for JP. He hangs around the outside, going into Indianapolis 1 through the second part, and he's got the inside line. However, Jamie left enough room at the apex and will be ahead here as they get very close to running into each other into Arnage corner, the slowest on the circuit, and down the Cours du Buisson they go towards the Porsche curve, which usually has a big giant Porsche's overhead gantry screen advertising hoarding there. And they're side by side. Jamie getting aggressive now at this stage of the race, or finding more grip than the other drivers, as I'm assuming the track temperature is dropping. Jamie wall rides right round the outside and gets all over the place. We managed to have just the right camera to check that one out. Jamie holds on through that corner. We've seen him run very, very close to that wall, so he does like running fine margins to the corner through DuPont and into karting corner, down into the Ford chicane. Lights still ablaze, and so are those front axles with the brake discs glowing. Jamie just can't get ahead, and Andy Winters as I thought he was pitting. No, he's come out of the pits once again. So this remains the battle for fourth place, led by S. Boomer in the Jaguar. Then you've got Tap Shooter in the McLaren, who gets out of shape through Dunlop. Jamie just can't get comfortably ahead. Just tapping the brakes, gently bringing the car into the apex, not dragging those tyres too much. Just enough fuel to run those tyres to the canvas. JP just watching and waiting, potentially watching and waiting for this to all go wrong, as Jamie then is joining him off board as he tries to get there. We have got rain on the circuit. Look, the wipers are on. It's not too heavy, but it is going to be affecting the drivers. Sometimes this is that sort of psychological rain where you see it on the screen or the helmet and you think grip is going to be really difficult, but sometimes tyres are able to shift that level. What a great exit there for Jamie. Surely if he can avoid running into the McLaren, he'll keep the momentum. He does manage to keep some momentum and gets running up ahead. Andy Winters rejoined after the pit stop there, and he's managed to rejoin in third place ahead of this battle. But I think we're about to, wow, it's teaming it down as you head down the Mulsanne straight this time. So the rain really spraying off the back of the cars, reducing visibility. Have our cars all disappeared? They've all coordinated, gone off into the gravel through the second chicane, just gaming each other to go deeper and deeper into the brakes. And now it is time for a change of tyre. Wow, Jamie can't get the car controlled. This is absolutely impossible aquaplaning conditions for our drivers. Where is Jamie now? JP is in the same boat. This is fairly warm, slick tyres, and they are just nothing on the public road surface here. The crown of the racetrack, they need to stay in the middle, on the middle line, because the racetrack is so crowned. Going off into the valleys here at either side, there'll be zero grip out there as Jamie runs wide again. Cannot get the car stopped. Jamie, where are we going now? Back into the gravel, going off-road. Is that a hint of a reset to track? I don't think so. I don't think Jamie would do that. But yes, all over the surface, and JP just trying not to run into him. These two really struggling to full grip. Where is Payan? Has he managed to get the car into the pits? The drivers are just cruising. It's like they're on safety car conditions. This is Payan. He hasn't made the pit lane yet, but look at the rain gauge on the left hand of the car, right by the clock at the bottom of the screen. You can see how wet it actually is out there. This is really difficult, and of course Payan, the first one on the scene, is holding on gamely here to the car. Getting into the pit lane is going to be difficult enough. making the right choice. It might be full wets the cars go straight onto, and dropping the pace here by 30 seconds through this lap, this previous lap. And we go surely to the, no, Payan stays out. He thinks it's going to stop raining, and maybe it has. Maybe this is just a little bit of a wet section of the race that the drivers want to get through. I wonder how much worthwhile it is to put the inters on for a lap, even if it is drying up. Certainly no rain on the windscreen here for the Viper, so not a clear and obvious decision for the drivers here. Let's see what the Viper does. Heads towards the pit lane. No, he's going on through, so no way they're going to risk being on inters for a moment too long. Any pit stops coming, I'm going to stay with each driver as they go in or past the pit lane. No, they're all of the similar mind. It's not worth the time it takes to pit. Despite the fact that Jamie was all over the road, he doesn't decide to go in either. JP has lost a huge amount of time relative to Jamie here, and he's still struggling around. Now, will JP of all people, will JP be the one that decides to pit, because he just can't keep this Aston Martin pointing in the straight line? Yes, into the pits we go with on board with JP. So this is the gamble. JP may not even see it as a gamble, such as his pace at the moment, but into the pits we go for a change of wet weather tyres. I assume, given the fact that it's not actively raining, he'll go for intermediates. We'll check that out in a minute as HMFC goes through the chicane as well. He's not going in the pits, so just JP. Goblin Guy passes up the opportunity to go in the pits. That's JP who stops on the medium tyres, hasn't switched tyres just yet, or hasn't registered on the car. So let's see. I wonder what kind of pace he will do relative to the others. The laps are so long though, by the time they get towards the end of his first lap on the inters, it could well be done and dusted. Oh, in absolute two minds is the Mercedes as he straddles the entry curb. He goes into the pits, so Mr. Grumpy and JP do decide to pit. JP has come out and he has gone onto those intermediates. Now, how is the car feeling for JP, I wonder? What has he got? 1 minute 55 to the lead of the race. Drivers all in front of him, still on the mediums, on the dry tyres, the slicks. So JP just wants this Alpha to get out of the way. Round the outside he has to go, because the Alpha trying to just hang on to the car. And JP gaining quickly here, so he would have cost himself about 30 seconds. He did fuel to the brim as well, so maybe in the region of 35, 38 seconds for JP. But look at the gap, the 1 minute 49 there. That is dropping fast to the leader, Payan. That's 14 seconds to the car in front, IG88. Down into the in the braking zone, and he'll get so much good performance relative to the dry weather tyres. Gain 2 seconds, and now on the acceleration even more, down to 1 minute 45. So JP with the gamble, using the wet weather tyres. May only be a lap. It could be this track takes 2 or 3 laps to even to dry up. It's difficult to read at this stage, but JP building the speed down to 1 minute 43, 9.7 all importantly to the car in front. Remember, his real battle here is with Jamie, who is in P5 currently. Yeah, JP catching the cars in front, hand over fist really in the intermediate tyre option, shifting a lot more water through the treads than the slicks are able to. JP just needs to keep it on the island, really. So JP, another 2 seconds gained in that sector, and down to 1 minute 29 to Payan. Now, if the other drivers decide to pit at this stage, it will indicate that he made a good decision, JP, but no, they've come through. The top 2 have come through, have passed the pit lane, and the track is definitely drying up now. So it looks like JP's progress will be halted, though he was the one struggling the most in the rain. Andy Winters passes the pit lane as well, so he's not interested in coming in. Question for me is, does JP stay out for another lap on the inters, as Jamie is still struggling in the braking zone? He'll watch the times coming down, and I think while he's still catching JP, this group, he will stay on the inters. Yeah, he's gone past the pit lane, so he's happy enough on the inters, but whether he can gain the kind of 80 seconds he needs to make up for 2 pit stops is another matter. I think damage limitation situation here, still offline, the water absolutely piled up on the edges of the racetrack. So touched the wrong side of the track, the wrong part of the track, the white lines, any puddles just off the circuit past the curbs, and I think you'll be spinning around very quickly indeed. JP not at the moment looking to call those inters, and Lego IG88 is catching Espuma. So Espuma having a bit of trouble here, not having the best of evenings. I don't know if he's enjoying the Jaguar as much as other cars he drives, but somewhat off colour tonight for Boomer. Actually, it was a bit better than this. He did mention not having practiced a great deal. This isn't a track very popular among league races because of its size and nature. It is difficult, but I do know that in the season that starts tomorrow on Aero League Racing, that I'll be commentating over, they are going to race the Nordschleife on round 4, so that should be very interesting. 4 weeks time on the Monday night at Aero League Racing. You'll be able to see me on a Monday at 8 PM UK with them, and on a Wednesday normally you'll see me around 5:40 PM on FTR and 8 PM. Oh, there's a big problem there for the BMW of Andy Winters, who has ground out the car slightly over the bollards. He's had to reset there. He was stuck. Nothing he could do about that one. So getting the car rescued back on. Just to finish what I was saying, Invictus Racing League starts again on Wednesday night for a 15-round championship. Debuting cross-play for PS and PC tiers. So the top tier will be Wednesday night at 8 PM, avoiding a clash with other popular leagues. So hopefully we will see some more than one fast driver in that league for the first time in 3 consecutive seasons that have been won by different but very similar dominant performances. So the Aston Martin has got to within 1 minute 18 of the lead. He's just overtaken S. Boomer, who is having an absolute nightmare of a race at the moment. But the Alfa Romeo 4C is now catching JP on the inters. So he goes past. We have about 20 minutes to run now. Will that feature in JP's mind? Will he think about the hard tyres for a final stint of the race? Will he get 21 minutes out of the hard tyres, I wonder? I would imagine he would. Oh, and around goes IG88 as well. So it is a race to the bottom at the tail end of the field at the moment. Drivers falling off all over the road. There is IG88 really struggling. Now, is that S. Boomer? No, IG88 is on new tyres, so I don't think that would be an excuse that the tyres are running out. In comes JP. And now another head scratcher of a strategic call here. I know he hasn't enjoyed the hard tyre stints. HMFC went on to wets at the same time as JP and overtook more cars. Did he overtake more cars? He seems to have gained more ground potentially here than JP did overall on the leader. But into the pits they come. It's useless watching them due to the lack of animation that goes on. Into the pits also comes Blue Mosquito, and yeah, that was over-egging it somewhat into the pit lane. It didn't quite work out for Blue Mosquito either. Cablo also into the pits, and he's coming off the intermediates. Same time as Mr. Grumpy too, yeah, indeed. So another real mix of strategies going on, but Payan will be nearing the end of, I was going to say nearing the end of this medium run, but he must have already pitted for a new set of mediums, or he's used them a lot less thanks to the wet weather. I think that's probably more likely. He was running even 6-lap stints here, but he might get an extra lap or two and be able to run the softs at the end. Let's see what he tries to eke out of this race. 19 minutes to go of our coverage. Now Payan navigating Indianapolis safely down into Arnage. Still less than happy with the grip on the car. Now, what did JP do? He went for mediums, and I don't think he will. Will he do the rest of the race on those mediums? Yes, he should do. He should do, indeed. 6 times 4. 24, and that is more minutes than we have left in the race. Into P9, back down to 1 minute 53 away from the race leader, and 30.5 seconds off the car in front is JP. Out there in the cold at the moment. Some drivers will need to pit again, though. You'll see Andy Winters is on softs. Those may be a struggle to reach the end of this race tonight, that set of softs. Particularly looking at his rear wear. Has tried and fought, and he's still in 6th place. Goblin Guy's well worth a mention here in 5th. Brought himself very much into contention. And Tap Shooter, despite getting significantly airborne earlier on, Tap Shooter is in 4th place as well, but some 7 seconds away from the lead. The rears that have been really wearing for our drivers, who will need to stop again for fuel, no doubt, as I think will Jamie. So short splash and dash and soft tyre stint coming. Well, here comes Jamie into the pits, and despite the struggles he had in the rain, he has managed to rescue. If he gets a podium out of this one, it will be quite an accomplishment after the amount of sideways action we saw during the worst wet weather lap, which I'm assuming was lap 14 by the look of things. Here is Lee Cole, running P2, very much on his own, is Lee. So really just in a battle with himself here and his own focus, as perhaps the sky's starting to clear and the visibility pick up back as you would expect. Still a cloudy sky, but fairly easy to see your way around. I'll do one last shout out for a gift giving, please, for our fundraiser. We are looking for a further donation, please, tonight, or when you watch back coverage, or after the race. But over the course of the next couple of days, we would love it if we could really build that total as much as possible. Remember, this is one of the UK's, not one of the UK's large major charities, but they do incredible work nonetheless, and in one sense far more deserving of your gifting. You could also set up a monthly small gift. I know charities are usually very, very happy to receive standing order or direct debit accounts. It helps them plan their future income a lot better than standalone gifts or events. So if you can't give anything significant today, maybe set up starting next month £1 or £2 a month to give to our bladder cancer charity. I know that everybody watching and JP especially would really appreciate any support you're willing to give. So with about 14.5 minutes to run, JP is in 7th place on medium tyres. He can afford to run right to the end of this race. We will see some more pit stops coming up. Feeling a little bit unsure whether Lee Cole can make the end of the race on fuel, whether even Payan can as well. So JP could pick up a couple of places here, thanks to stopping for the intermediate tyres and fueling at the same time. Jamie is pitted and he's back out in 5th place. He is 22 seconds off IG88 but in front, and 8 seconds off Top Shooter behind. Soft tyres, nice 3/4 tank of fuel. I think that might be overfilling slightly for what he will use towards the end of the race, but nonetheless 5th place at the moment. I think he could still see the podium. Payan's in the pits. Payan has made it into the pits, 12% of fuel on board, so he will need to increase that fuel a little bit. I imagine soft tyres will be the order of the day for anybody pitting now, so I don't think Jamie will pick up pace relative to them after their pit stop. And Lee Cole is in the pits as well. This is the good tipping point for everybody. A good place to pit here. What about Goblin Guy? There's something slightly Goblin-esque about that Alfa Romeo livery on the front as well, isn't there? Slightly sinister looking on the black on white near the headlights. Very cool. Half expecting a pit stop here. Lowish fuel, and if you're going to pit for softs, you might as well pit now and get the best usage out of them. In he comes. Be warned, pit lane still looks a little bit damp. Very nicely done. And so down into the pits comes IG88. So this could mean Jamie on fresh softs has a good run at their positions in the pits at the moment. Of course, they need less fuel filling time than Jamie did, because he's done an extra lap than they will have to. Whether they can calculate how many laps this will actually run to with Payan's pace is I'm quite sure if they've got that in them. Math skills. There's not much else to think about down the Mulsanne straight. There he goes into 3rd place. goes Jamie, and this could be a tremendous performance from Jamie if he can hold on to that third place, particularly how much struggle he was having in the wet weather phase. So looking very, very tidy. Payan in first place, 21 seconds ahead of Lee Cole, who is 32 seconds ahead of Jamie. But Jamie will be not unhappy with the podium, I think, tonight. And really building the pace now in car number 6. JP's got himself up to 5th place, and he's right on the back of Tap Shooter, who has just pitted. So JP has a race on his hands to the end of the race, and the race will come to him at the end of this stint, because the softs will start to wear off. Fastest lap still lies with Payan. I don't think anybody's going to trouble him. I imagine if anyone is going to trouble that time, it will be Payan himself, a 3:56.754 overall. Flat out down the Mulsanne goes JP, unable really to get much of a slipstream effect on the back of Tap Shooter, but who knows what kind of pressure he can apply. And have Tap Shooter looking in his mirrors. There's a personal best sector for JP. Gap is opening up slightly. It looks like top speed wise, or at least corner exit traction, the McLaren has the better, particularly on these brand new softs. That'll be why. Top speed doesn't really seem to be with the DBR9, which you would kind of expect it would. It's a heavy old machine though. Balance of power should be on for the drivers, so power to weight shouldn't be so much of an issue. Under a second now, this gap, which is very handy indeed. He's even got the channel logo on his license plate. Look, JPTV, that's neat, tidy. If you're watching, I'd love to hear your favourite livery tonight. That's always a intriguing question. For me, I'm enjoying this DC Shoes one, the Hoonigan on the V12 Vantage of RG88. I'm enjoying that one quite a lot. There's a nice simplicity to HMFCs. Kind of want to vomit with Mr. Grumpy's, I have to admit. Blue Mosquitoes is well, it's blue. I mean, what more can be said? Cablo, definitely special mention. I'm enjoying the Cablo's livery a lot. We haven't spent a lot of time looking at it, but it's just that tiny shade too neon orange for my taste, maybe. Payan, I feel, special mention for sure for being on brand, but that orange just doesn't go with that green. So I think for me, there's a classic nature to Jamie's Nissan, but I'm not sure it's been specially made for tonight. Again, the orange and the purple, no thank you. So I think I'm going to have to give my livery to IG88 tonight. That's going to be my pick of the best liveries. Well, we are down to the final 8 minutes or so of our race, as the Supra in the lead grounds out and spreads sparks all over the shop. So I will keep my eye on his race time, because he may well only have the one more lap to go, it should say on his car. Driving well, but Jamie looking at a potential podium here as he loses time to Tap Shooter behind. Jamie's got a bit of a job on his hands here to hold on to this one, especially picking up a half-second penalty. His personal best time the previous lap 19 at 3:58. That is one of the closest drivers I've managed to get to Payan's car. 3:56.754. His fastest lap. I wonder if he's going for one here as well. I am really struggling to watch Payan with the lag, so Hope he'll forgive me for not have him on screen a great deal, but it does seem like his lag is a big problem from my connection to him. Who else has got anywhere near Payan? Well, neither of these two, I don't think. 4:01 is JP's best time, and another penalty on JP as he closes in on 4th place. Heels out. This is the outside, is it? No, this is the inside going towards the next chicane. So JP gets track position, should get to the apex first. Oh wow, he was very conservative on the brakes, and who can blame him after the grip issues he's had tonight. But JP a little bit shy really to the apex there, picks up another fastest sector. I feel it's a matter of time, but he needs to get on with passing the McLaren because he's got to take that penalty. Here he goes to the inside as they head down towards the Mulsanne corner at the end of this very, very long section. Gets to the apex, just about wiggling the car to try and get extra braking performance. Through Mulsanne he goes, and through the Corbu Golf and ahead, but is he ahead by enough to make up for that half-second penalty he's wearing on the car? Of course, Tap Shooter can see that, doesn't need to fight very hard, just needs to avoid making a big mistake coming into the braking zone here for Indianapolis. What a run that Tap Shooter has got in the McLaren. Top speed is mega on that McLaren versus the Aston Martin. Oh, JP getting loose again. Remember, those soft tyres will be getting a little bit difficult for Tap Shooter. Away goes the Aston Martin. He'll go off throttle now. Blasting past will go the McLaren. JP makes him go the long way around though, as you would have to expect him to. But honestly, JP with a good recovery up to 5th or 4th, depending on where he finishes this one. As I say, nobody else under the 4-minute mark with the exception of Jamie. And that is how Jamie, in this final stint of the race, has managed to close and get very close to securing this podium. Mr. Grumpy is in 12th place. So watch Payan for a moment then. He's not registering as being on his final lap yet. But he might have to go do an extra one, unless he decides to slow things down. And he might do everybody a favour by running 1 lap less. He might decide to do that and just wait those 20 seconds of a lead he's got. Do a nice ceremonial finish like they do in Le Mans with the top teams. That would be quite classy, wouldn't it? See that. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's race. I hope you are motivated to give us a little donation for all the effort. There is Jamie really putting in the good times now, extending that lead to Tap Shooter in 4th behind, whose attention is taken, well, was taken with JP, who's now had a big problem and is doing is trying his best to try and hang on. Really just to that 4th place. I thought he might get himself onto that 5th place. I thought he might get himself into 4th, but it looks like it's dropping away for JP as Boomer gets through. Boomer to the inside in the chicane, the first chicane. JP, what is going on with those tyres? Surely those tyres are performing better than the softs in front, but is his fuel too low? I don't think so. I think he's still able to push at this stage. Identical penalties on places 8th and 9th here to pay. Next time through Dubuisson Courbe between Arnage and Porsche. Speaking of Porsche. Oh, he has been lapped. So we have seen a lapped vehicle, and the Porsche of Cablo has been lapped by the similarly orange liveried Payan in first place. So Payan can tick that one off. He's lapped a car around Le Mans in a 90-minute race. Not bad going from Payan. Here he is with a minute and a half to go on the clock. I don't know if he's thinking about waiting. I think even if he did wait, he would still have to complete the next lap, wouldn't he? Even if he held up now, it wouldn't register. I don't know, if he waited 10 seconds, it might be a definitive final lap. Through the final 2 chicanes he goes. He will start with 1 minute on the clock. The next, and I think will be the final lap of the race for him. Wait for the time to tick over and confirm that on his car. Jamie, 3:59 that previous lap. If he can get another lap in under the 4 minutes, as the soft tyres really are past their best. We'll wait to see him across the line and see how then JP is getting on. Was fighting for 4th, now down in 6th place with soft runners in front of him. But he was nose to tail and side to side with Jamie at various points earlier on in our race. Jamie crosses the line, manages a 3:58.968, another great lap from Jamie. And here is Boomer on tap shooter. This is the only thing that could help JP out at this stage. Look how damaged the front end of Boomer's Jaguar is. JP though, he's struggling to hang on. He's going to enter low fuel mode. He's taken the checker. He has taken the checker. So tap shooter, S Boomer and JP and Andy Winters have taken the checkered flag. They will finish 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. Lego IG88 finishes 8th place. We've got Goblin Guy across the line, and this is the strange factor of Gran Turismo where the tail runners finish before the leader because they've passed the timing. Here comes HMFC flashing the lights. Run a good race here tonight. I'm not sure that champion sticker is on straight, and that's annoying me. I don't know why that is. Penalties are flying in, but we're being told not to worry about that because JP will sort them out post-race. Blue Mosquito not far away from crossing the line, and the other thing is that Cablo, despite being lapped, is finishing after the cars in front of him. Here comes Blue Mosquito then, down towards the final 2 chicanes, and we're going to wrap this one up shortly as the sun is starting to set again. It's usually like a 4 p.m, isn't it, start time of Le Mans, so it's usually a 4 p.m. finish figures. Oh, crossing the line is Blue Mosquito in 11th place. Mr. Grumpy likewise crosses the line to take 12th, and Cablo a long way back, and we'll give the final run then to Payan, who's flashing his lights as he navigates the bumps of the Mulsanne straight of the Côte de Buisson here. Just nearly all over, Bala shouting here for Payan. 21.3 seconds. He's going to win by a lap to the 13th place driver as well. This is a commanding performance, never looked in doubt for Payan, our Turkish driver. Not even a restart could stop him. And we gradually head down then to the Ford and Raccordement chicanes for the final time. And for Bladder Cancer UK, for Turkey and for Toyota, Payan wins Le Mans the 2 hours of Le Mans race, and congratulations to him. Tremendous performance from Payan, fastest lap of the race, peerless nearly the entire race long, not a single problem for him. And that was the end of our race tonight. We'll see the congratulations. A last reminder, please, to give generously to our charity tonight. That is Fight Bladder Cancer UK. Follow the link in the top of the live chat, or in the description, or in the social media posts after. Follow me if you want to, at WebORed5, and make sure you follow what's going on with the charity themselves, and they are Fight Bladder Cancer on YouTube. So from everybody here on tonight's stream, and in memory of JP's father-in-law, we thank you very much for your attention, for your engagement tonight, and to the drivers for putting on a great show. From all of us here involved in tonight's coverage, and from Le Mans, we will all catch you on the next race day.